friends, welcome to Honest English. I am Onu, your teacher. In today's video, we're going to discuss how to test for adverbial phrases. How to test for adverbial phrases. Of course, by definition, we know that an adverbial phrase is any phrase that performs the functions of an adverb. But we also know that adverbs, of course, is a part of speech whose function is to show how, where, and other details concerning the action of a verb. Okay? So today, let's go into our testing by testing how to identify our adverbial phrases. Now, the first test is to test for the markers. Now, for adverbial phrases, the markers are three. That is preposition, two infinitives, and intensifiers. So you have to check if the underlying expression begins with any of these elements. That is the preposition, two infinitives, and intensifiers. Now, a few examples will help. In the car. So in is a preposition. Of course, the car is a noun phrase. To sleep. To sleep is an infinitive, and then very kindly. So these are some examples of adverbial phrases. Now let's look at test 2. For test 2, we test for the finite verb. Of course, the test for finite verb is a very important part of our grammatical tests. That is our scientific approach to the test of grammatical elements. Because it is in test 2, that is test for finite verb, that we're able to differentiate a clause from a phrase. Of course, if there is the presence of a finite verb, then the underlying expression is a clause. But where there is no finite verb, then it is a phrase. So in this case, we test for the finite verb, and we should find out ordinarily that there won't be any finite verb in that expression, and so it will be a phrase. Then test 2, very important. Now we check if the underlying expression is pointing to a verb, in the other part of the sentence. Very, very important. Now, if the underlying expression is pointing to the other part of the verb, it means that that expression is an adverbial phrase. And that verb it is pointing to or pointing at is the main verb of that sentence. And so it is that verb that is pointing to or at that it is modifying. Now let's make it easy by considering some examples here. Now, he kept the money in a bag. Now look at this. If we do our test 1, we'll find out that it contains the preposition in. Okay? So it has passed the first test, in. Okay? Then we check, that's test 2 now, if it contains a finite verb. Of course, you can see there is not even a verb here, let alone a finite one. So it is a phrase. Then test 3, we check if it is pointing to a verb in the other part of the sentence. Look at this. He kept the money in the bag. So in the bag is showing us where he kept the money. So in the bag is pointing to kept. right? So if that is the case as it is now, it is what? An adverbial phrase. Very simple. Now, let's look at how to present it for NECO SSC and then WAEC SSC. So, the answer should be grammatical name, adverbial phrase. Okay? Then grammatical function, it modifies the verb kept. Now, observe that my kept is in inverted commas. That is how the somebody's required you to present it. And you get your full mark. This is 1 and then 2, making a total of 3. Okay? So, let's go to example 2. She went to London to call him. She went to London to call him. Now, let's do our testing. In test 1, this is to infinitive. To call is to infinitive. So, it contains it here. That is this. Then test 2, does it contain a finite verb? No. Please pay attention here. We know that call is a verb. But in this situation, it is a non-finite verb. In the previous lessons, we have explained the 3 types of non-finite verb. We identified our gerunds, our infinitives, and our participles. So, to call is a non-finite verb. It's called infinitive. Okay? Then, so, this expression is a phrase. That's test 2 now. Then for test 3, we'll now check if it is pointing to a verb in the other part of the sentence. Simple. To call him. He went to London to call him. Why did he go to London? Or she go to London? She went to London to call him. So, to call him is giving us the reason or the purpose of going to London. Therefore, grammatical name, adverbial phrase. Okay? Grammatical name, adverbial phrase. Grammatical function, it modifies the verb went. The verb went. Okay? Don't forget that we put them in inverted comma. Okay? Very good. So, grammatical name, adverbial phrase, grammatical function, it modifies the verb went. Then the final example quickly. Now, at the moment of impact, the eye is left exposed. At the moment of impact, the eye is left exposed. Of course, let's do analysis. At is a preposition, so it has passed test 1. Then we check if there is a finite verb here. No finite verb, not even a verb as we speak. Now, does it point to a verb in the other part of the sentence? Yes. At the moment of impact, the eye is what? Left exposed. Is left exposed. So, the verb left, which is the past tense of the verb leave, is, or the expression is showing us what happened at the moment of what? Impact. And that is the eyes is what? Left exposed. Okay? So, we can conclude, therefore, that at the moment of impact is what? An adverbial phrase. Then the function, it modifies the verb left. Now, let us pay attention to simple difference between NECO answers and WAEC answers. For example, at WAEC level, if you say, it's an adverbial phrase, note that it's okay, that's point 1. And let's say it modifies the verb left. WAEC will give you the mark. Okay? But NECO expects you to go further to say, therefore, that it modifies the verb phrase is left. NECO expects that you know that is left is a verb phrase, okay? So for Neko, you can say it modifies the verb phrase is left. Then for wipe, you can say it modifies the verb left. So dear friends, this is how to test for our adverbial phrases. It's a pretty long video, but I'm sure you have learned today how to identify your adverbial phrase. We keep appealing to you. Invite your friends to join, to share, and have further insights into English grammar. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.